Okay, so welcome to the final chapter in the Vigilus campaign, in the books that is. So we're going to have the big fight. You've seen Marnie's Calgar in the last games. He's collected together his Vortex missiles. He's gathered together 6 of them, and he's put them on board an Eldari stealth craft, and that stealth craft is making its way to the Vengeful Spirit. So to get Abaddon away from the Vengeful Spirit, so the mastermind of the Dark Forces doesn't figure out his plan, Calgar's issued a challenge to him in the streets of Vigilus, which of course Abaddon cannot refuse, being the Grand Pirate Warlord. You've got to set an example. So, and we're going to play the mission for it. So it's called Demise of a Legend. So I'll give the readout at the top because it's worth it since it's so grand. From the moment that Marnie's Calgar heard the hated name of the Despoiler broadcast from the spires of Vigilus, he had known it would come to this. Locking eyes with his foe as their fleets battled above them, he armed his mighty gauntlets and prepared to mete out justice once and for all to this traitor. So, Demise of a Legend, it can be played with other missions, and so there is victory conditions for this, but it really doesn't matter. So I'll just wash over the victory conditions, because this is mainly going to be like a historical game, because if you know the story of Vigilus, and even if you don't, we know who wins the war and we know who wins the battle. But of course I'll not spoil it, but we already know the outcome. So it really doesn't matter about the victory conditions. We're simply just playing through the story of how it goes down. So this is the deployment we're going to be using. So the Black Legion are going to be in this deployment, Ultramarines in this deployment. Now here's where it gets different from anything you might have ever experienced. This little 3-inch circle in the centre here, this is where Abaddon and Marnie's Calgar will do battle. It's a 3-inch radius zone, and they are set up in the middle. They can't leave that radius zone, and nothing can influence that little radius zone. So what I've done is I've set up like a little force field fence here to show you that no models can come into that square, and they can't leave that square either. So that's where they'll do battle. And so, as you've seen on these dice we've got set up, you may be wondering what they are. Each fighter will have 25 wounds each, and they will just slug it out right in front of both armies for the fate of Vigilus. So what are the rest of the army going to be doing in the meantime? Well, we're just going to slug it out themselves. It's going to have very little impact because it's all about who wins the fight to win the battle. But the Black Legion and the Ultramarines are just going to tear chunks out of each other on the peripheries, because it just all matters about the central fight. It's just a dust up in the middle of the street. So we'll basically just be doing overviews of the rest of the army turn by turn, but we're going to get into the nitty gritty of Abaddon and Marnius doing their fight. So everything else is sort of a backdrop to the main fight. So there's mission stratagems to go with this fight as well. All of these mission stratagems basically are for that fight in the middle. So these will be used heavily, and we'll cover them as and when we use them. And there's also 2 free stratagems you've got here as well. So there's Lieutenant Etherus. There we go. So he'll be represented by this Primus Lieutenant, and he gets an extension of 6 inches on his range because he's a character in this story. And then the Black Legion also get one. It's a Terminator sorcerer called Vandreth, the Black Seer, and he gets to reroll 1 or both of his psychic test dice. So just a little bit of more extra character in there. Okay, we'll take a look at the armies. It's worth saying straight away that we're not playing sort of match play style where it really matters about detachments and whatnot. Because it's an unusual mission, we're just going to play with 15 command points each, and we've just brought what we want to bring to the fight here. So don't worry about detachments and whatnot. So 15 command points each, and it's about 2,500 points. That's not including Abaddon or Calgar on either side. So we'll still go through the armies because we know that people do like to see them, because it is pretty nice to see them all lined up. So we'll start with the sorcerer here. So he's just got what you see there, and he'll be the special character. So more on that later, but he'll be the guy in charge while Abaddon's taking care of business with Calgar. So we've got a 10-man unit of Terminators here. There's a lot of combi melters in there, and there's a few heavy flamers. Got a 5-man Terminator squad here, mostly combi plasmas in there. Then we've got a 5-man Havoc team, 4 las cannons. And then over here we've got a Master of Possession with these 2 Obliterator bodyguard. And for some troops we've got a Chaos Marine squad here. These are more hand-to-hand based, and there's 2 plasma guns in there and a plasma pistol for the aspiring champion. This one, another 10-man squad. These have got bolt guns, and there's an auto cannon in there. And then we've brought Harken World Claimer. Yes, I know he's terrible, he's the worst, but he's the Herald of Abaddon, and it would feel wrong if he missed out on the grand finale. So he's in there, and he's got his unit of raptors with him, and they've got a plasma gun. Then we've got some big machines. So we've got 2 Forge Fiends. These are both exactly the same with the Ectoplasma in the Maw. And then we've got a Venom Crawler. I painted this a long time ago, but I still haven't played with it. So here it is today. He's going to stride out and see what he's made of. And then we've got a Rhino for the hand-to-hand Chaos Marine unit here. And then last but not least, we've got a big old knight here. So he's going to be from the Iconoclast division. And we're not going to play the Iconoclast special rules because he's just going solo here, so it doesn't feel right to give him the Iconoclast rules, but we are going to spend a few stratagems on him. So we're going to give him 1 command point to make him a character, and he can take a relic. The relic gives him an invulnerable 4 save against shooting, and then we're going to spend a further 2 command points on him, and that gives him the Vow of Dominance, which is transhuman physiology but for a knight. So you can only wound him on a 4+, no matter what weapon you're shooting at him. Another command point being spent over here is going to be for the sorcerer, and he's going to take the extra warlord trait, and he will generate command points on a 5, just like the Ultramarines will do. So it's like a dark mirror to the boys in blue. Okay, so here's the Ultramarines.
Alright, so taking on the Black Legion, we've got about 2,500 points of Ultramarines, and it's a company led by Captain Akaran, and he has the 3+ invulnerable save, the Santic Halo, which allows a dispel 2. He's got 2 bodyguards. Other luminaries in his force include Lieutenant, Apothecary, Librarian, an Ancient with a banner, and then we have squads of intercessors. We have one here, another one there, another one there. This sergeant has a honoured sergeant rule, and so we've given him a bolt gun that does 1 damage of a mortal wound.
Hell Fury Bolt.
Hell Fury Bolt, thank you. Then we've got some aggressors, and they've got the bolt guns. And then we have the Inceptors here with the heavy bolters, and the what are these called?
Suppressors.
Suppressors, yeah, suppressors, the autocannon type things. And then we've got this dreadnought here, kitted out as you see it, and we've got repulsor tank, nicely equipped there, lots of guns bristling, and we've got a squad of there's not many names. These are called infiltrators. Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. So 10 of those, and these bad boys, Centurions with bolters and heavy bolters.
Yeah, devastating unit.
Yeah, and these have got missiles and las cannons.
Another devastating unit.
And leading it all today, we have Marnius Calgar.
Okay. Okay, we are onto deployment now. So the Ultramarines, they did win the roll-off, so they've set up first. So the big intercessor contingent is on this side, all 3 squads there with support from the Librarian. And then this is the main holdout here. So the Hellblasters and the long-range heavy weapons of the army pretty much are clustered in the top shelf here. There's the las cannon Centurions, the suppressors. They've got the banner with them as well, and the apothecary to keep them all alive. And then down in front of the street, there's the heavy bolter Centurions. There's the captain and the special lieutenant. And then the 2 heavy engines there, and then the honor guard are right in front of the Captain Akaran. And in the repulsor, 3 aggressors lurk, and then in orbit ready to come down to meet any fast response requirements are the Inceptors. And on the Black Legion side, so we've got a Rhino here with the hand-to-hand unit in. There's the Sorcerer, the Special Sorcerer with his 10-man unit. And then in this building we've got the las cannon Havocs, and down here we've got set up the Demon engines. So we've got the Venom Crawler, you can just see him there. There's 2 Forge Fiends. There's the Master of Possession looking after them, and then the big old Chaos Knight on the wing. So everything else that was in the army is in Deep Strike, and there's a lot in Deep Strike because Abaddon has led the teleport strike by himself to set an example, and you expect the rest of them to come in with him, because you never know what Marnius Calgar had planned. It could have been an ambush, but Abaddon's confident enough to survive it himself, so he goes in first just to make sure there's no funny business going on, and then the rest of the reserves will arrive. Okay, so there's no steal the initiative in this game, so the Ultramarines are scheduled to go first, but just before we do, we've both decided that to make this fight extra special, what we're going to do is we're going to award each fighter a private stash of 15 command points each, because we're just going to go all out with the stratagems in combat to show you 2 fighters at the peak of the skills, just having the clash of the titans, so to speak. Right, Ultramarines turn 1, they're on the move, so the intercessor squads on this side are going to seek to capture this building, because they have the intel that Abaddon's main forces are yet to strike in the battle, so they're expecting them coming in. And then down here, it's pretty much everyone stays still in the building. They've got a good position there, and the heavy bolter Centurions just start to move out a bit. The Dreadnought steps forward, it looks like, and I forgot to mention the deployment of the infiltrators. They were in that building all hidden away, and they've had to run away because the Knight's deployed on that side and they don't want anything to do with him, so they've run away. They only rolled a 1, so they're just slowly escaping the menace of the Chaos Knight. And we've also done the static phase, so the Librarian, he did telepathic assault onto the Rhino and took 4 wounds off it. Right, so after the static phase, the intercessors all on this side all shoot at the Rhino here and leave it with 4 wounds left. It was the Honoured Sergeant with these Hell Fury bolts that did the important wound, and it's now reduced to half speed. Okay, so firing on this side He's already fired with the heavy bolter Centurions and didn't do too well on it, only took 1 wound off the knight. Now it's the las cannon Centurions. This is a different kettle of fish. So he's firing the las cannons first, and he's going to need 3s to hit, and he rerolls 1s because the captain is below them. He's got a good amount of hits there, rerolls 1s, and that's looking good. Right now, you normally need 3s, but I played Vow of Dominance, which means you can only be wounded on 4s. You can reroll 1s because of the lieutenant on hand, and he makes 3. That's pretty significant when it's las cannons against a knight. So he's got an invulnerable 4 save because of his relic. So let's see if we can get this. Oh, 2 go through. I tell you what, I'm going to command point reroll 1 of those straight away, and he saves it right. So 1 goes through, and it's d6 damage. That's a 5. Right, he's taking 6 wounds in this turn. And then we've got the Centurion missile launchers, so it's 3 D3 shots from the chest. It's an assault weapon, so there is no extra AP this round. So he's getting 6 shots, that's the average. And again needs 3s, rerolls 1s, because the chapter master is elsewhere. Right, he's going to need 4s on these. Nothing, but he can reroll that 1 because the lieutenant is underneath them. Doesn't get it in the end. Right, it's the repulsor. Is going to fire now all weapons that can at the knight, so that's pretty much everything. He's going to start with the las cannons first. Gets them both. Needs 4s because of Vow of Dominance. Doesn't do it. Right, all the other weapons are going to fire up and try and take this knight down a bit. He's weathering it just nicely. Will he be a problem? Right, so the rest of the guns fire on the repulsor, and then the dreadnought fires all at the knight. But this is what's happened. We're about to heap some praise onto this knight. However, the repulsor did 5 damage off its Gatling array. The Icarus missile pod did 3 damage, and then the dreadnought has done 5 damage to it. So it's only got 7 wounds left this knight, and now he's got the suppressors to fire the autocannon. So he's going to try and finish it off with the autocannons. Cannot believe. Well, I can actually. This is going to go down in turn 1. We always knew it, but when we survived that last cannons, we're dead to dream. So here come the autocannons. So reroll 1s because they are within 6 just. So they all hit because they didn't move. Right, these are going to need 5s to wound because it's only strength 7. He didn't get it. We're off the hook with the knight. That is so close. 7 wounds left on the knight. Right, last things to shoot in the shooting phase. The Hellblaster's right in the distance there, out of range on the knight, so they couldn't target it, unfortunately. So he went for the Venom Crawler just around the wall there, and the Venom Crawler saved. So that's the end of the shooting phase. It's time for the fight. So we're going to fight the big fight now. So I've set out some dice. I'll explain what they are. So there's 15 command points. This is Abaddon's side. There's 15 command points in his personal stash. 25 wounds, and on this side there's Calgar's. He's got exactly the same. So Calgar will strike first in this combat, and he's decided to play some stratagems in advance, and he's told us what they are. So he's going to play Death to Traitors, which is from the Space Marine book. He gets, if he rolls a 6, he's going to generate an extra attack to try and hit with. And he's also played 2 more. These are both from the Vigilus book, and these are pretty important. So he's played Righteous Fury, which means he's going to reroll wounds in combat, and he's also played Power Guard. So we'll do that now and we'll explain it. So we have a roll off, and he's got to beat this Abaddon score here, and we'll tell you what happens if that happens. So Abaddon gets a 5, that's a strong luck. Calgar gets a 3. Right, if Calgar beat Abaddon's score there, for the rest of the game, Abaddon will have to re-roll successful hit rolls. So it's pretty good, the power block, but he failed that time, but he does get a chance to play that stratagem at the start of every fight phase, so it will come around again. So with all those stratagems played, that 3, 2 and 1, so that's 6. That's 6 used. You can try and get these back on a 5 with your warlord trait. And he gets 1 back, so there's 5 command points spent, so Calgar's down to 10 here. So he's splurged a lot, but he's powered up. So he's going to start the proceedings with 6 attacks from the Gauntlets of Ultramar. So he rerolls 1s, and he's got 1 6 in there. So That's going to generate an extra hit because of death to the traitors, which hits. And then he's going to need a wound on 3s, which you can re-roll because of that stratagem, the Righteous Fury. So he's got, looks like 6 in the end. So Abaddon, he's going to have to save these all on his invulnerable 4s. Oh, so 4 go through, and it's D3 damage each. So it's 4 dice, D3. Alright, so he's got a 2, a 1, a 1, and a 1. So Abaddon, just like Calgar, they have incoming damage on each other. So that 2 becomes a 1, and the 1 stay at a 1, obviously. So that's going to be 4 wounds on Abaddon. So this 25 goes down to 21. Alright, so Abaddon will now fight. So Abaddon, he has 6 attacks with the Talon of Horus. Okay, rerolls 1s for himself. Right, we've got Death of the False Emperors trigger on a 5 with Abaddon. That's his Warlock trait. So generate an extra 4 attacks there, sorry. And then we'll reroll failed hit rolls. Yep. Right, this is strength 10, so we're needing 3s to wound because Calgar's toughness 5. Okay, that's fairly good-ish. So we've got 5, well, that was a 3. We've got 5 wounds on Calgar. He has to save on 4s. And 3 go through. And that's D3 damage each. So D3 each. Okay, so just like Calgar, Abaddon taking wounds, they halve incoming damage. So this 2 becomes a 1, that stays at a 1, that stays at a 1. So 3 wounds on Calgar. So that goes down to 22. And then we'll fight with Dratnian for D6 attacks. Only 2. And he's hitting on 2s. Gets them, sufficient. And 3s to wound, because strength 6. Gets 1 wound. Needs to save an invulnerable 4. And he saves it. That's good because Dratnian is a flat 3 damage, therefore it'll be bounced down to 2. So it is the more damaging weapon statistically between the Talon of Horus and the sword. So that's the one to look out for. So that is the end of the fight phase. Do you want to play Honour the Chapter?
Yes, please.
So he's going to play Honour the Chapter. Because he's powered himself up, he might as well and take advantage. So that costs 3, so that's going to go down to 7. There we go. And he's going to attack with 6 attacks again. And he rerolls, so no 6s turn up. Oh, yeah, that does generate. And so he's got 7 in the end, after he generated an extra 1. And then 3s to wound, reroll on if necessary. So just 1 to reroll, and he gets all 7. Right, so Abaddon, once again, we're back on invulnerable 4s, and that's pretty much what we'll be on forever. Alright, 3 go through, so that's 3d3 damage from Calgar. Right, so there's no 3s in there, so they all get bounced down to 1. So that's 3 extra wounds on Abaddon. So he's down to 18 wounds. Right, and then that is the end of the fight phase. So Abaddon's just testing to see what Calgar's got. Calgar's come out swinging fully with nearly all of his command points. And so that's 18 wounds for Abaddon, 22 wounds still left on Calgar. The fight will continue. Okay, Black Legion, turn 1, not much to move, to be honest. These are going to stay and cover the bolters are out of range, with only 24-inch range bolters. It's terrible. However, the autocannon will be able to shoot. The Wounded Rhino goes 6 inches and then advances 6, so it's going around to the corner there. We can't just go straight at the wall of Marines there, because they will crowd around the tank and kill everyone inside. We've been a victim of that through many editions of the game. Not this time, hopefully. And then over here, the Havoc stays still. Everything stays still, except these 2 Vigils. So the Knight limps up the street. He's only down to 9-inch move. He's only got 7 wounds left, remember. And he's ballistic skill 4, so don't expect much from him. And then the Venom Crawler that scuttles up, and that's going to lend its fire to any target that needs those excruciating cannons on it. And then we did the Psychic Phase just to round off the turn. So he did Cursed Earth on these vehicles, so these now got an invulnerable 4 save because it's a radius. And then we did Infernal Power on this one, so it's going to reroll ones in shooting and wounding, and then prescience on these las cannons. So these are probably our best attack in the army, these Havocs. Prescience came off from this sorcerer down here. He is just within 18 because we had to move him. So that is the psychic phase. So onto shooting, here we go. Right, going straight into the shooting phase. We're going to start with the knackered knight. So he's hitting on ballistic skill 4 now, which is a problem. So we're going to put all of our guns into the repulsor, but the melter gun has to fire at the dreadnought because he's the only one in range. So let's just get the melter gun out of the way. Hits on a 4, doesn't do it. Alright, so the thermal cannon at the repulsor, we get 1 shot. We're going to command point reroll that. This knight sucks. Right, it's hitting on a 4 then. What a waste of time. See if we get that command point back in a 5 because right, forget it.
It's a good job of buttons on.
Right, we've got 3 rockets at the repulsor. 1 hit. Needs a 4 to wound. No. Good work, knight. Okay, so then we gave up on the repulsor and we fired our demon engine. So we fired the venom crawler with demon forge. Did the majority of the wounds to the dreadnought. It did 6 wounds to the dreadnought, and then these 2 twin vehicles fired at the dreadnought. Woeful performance, only managed 2 wounds. So 8 wounds on the dreadnought, he's got 5 left. So the only thing we've got left to fire is the Havoc squad. So we've got a choice there. We can either pick off that dreadnought because it's only got 5 wounds left, or we can try and get the tank. And I think we're going to go and try and get the tank because it's las cannons. We'll want to take out the only thing that can trouble the repulsor really is the las cannon. So we've played Let the Galaxy Burn for reroll 1s because we've got prescience. We're hitting on 2s, reroll 1s against the repulsor, reroll 1s. Right, so they all hit because that's just bounced over on a 1. And then 3s to wound. Oh, we should have played Veterans of the Long War, but I've totally forgotten. I would have played Veterans of the Long War. Do you allow it?
Yeah.
Okay, so down to 4 command points. Veterans of the Long War, wound on 2s, because of course I would have done it. I'm just, and then we'll command point that one. We'll just blow through our command points because we've got nothing on this side so far. Right, so there's 4 wounds, saving on 6s on the repulsor. Saves 1, so 3 go through. So this is 3d6 damage. What can we achieve? Very little. That's only 8 wounds, and we already did our command point reroll. So 8 wounds on the repulsor. That's only halfway gone. Okay, the end of the shooting phase. So the knight is going to charge in on the dreadnought. We've already done the overwatch, and he picks off 2 wounds. So the knight is now on his bottom tier, and he needs 9 on the dice to make it. And fails miserably, so he's taking wounds for nothing. Alright, the Venom Crawler is going to do the same. So we'll do his overwatch, but let's just see how far he rolls. Nothing, so he's going to take some overwatch. So we ended the assault phase with the overwatch from the dreadnought. Put 3 wounds on the Venom Crawler, so I think it's only got 7 wounds left if it's got 10 or 12 wounds. Anyway, it's taken 3 wounds and didn't make its charge like the saw. So over to here where the only competent person on the battlefield, Abaddon, will now strike because he gets to go first. Right, so again, there's going to be a hell of a lot of stratagems going off here. So Abaddon, he's going to do, because he's so angered by his poor performance from his inferior army, he's going to do 10,000 years of hatred for 3 command points, and that means he rerolls wounds in combat. So let's see if we get any of those back on a 5. Nope. Alright, so and then Calgar's he firing off the defensive stratagem, the 2 command point job.
Yeah.
So 2 command points. He's already got a command point batters battle round. That's what that dice represents. So he can't generate anymore. So we do the roll off now. So Abaddon gets a 5.
Oh, you beat
Calgar gets a 4. So again, the defensive block hasn't worked. And I'm assuming you're going to spend 2 command points for transhuman physiology. Yeah, because it's the right thing to do. So that goes down to 3. So Calgar can only be wounded on a 4 again because of transhuman physiology. Okay, right, so Abaddon's going to strike with the Talon of Horus. So 2s, and he gets a Death of the False Emperor on 5s. So he gets 7, and then usually we'll be wounded on 3s, but with transhuman physiology, he's going to have to be on 4s. Oh, but we can reroll wounds because of 10,000 Years of Hatred. Right, 4 wounds on Calgar from the Talon of Horus. Says on 4s.
Ooh,
oh no, he's filled
desperate.
all of them. So it's going to be 4d3 and 1, 1, 1, and that goes down to 2. So there's 5 wounds on Calgar from the Talon of Horus. So it's 1, 2, and that goes down to 17. 17 wounds left, and then the strikes from Drachnian. 5. The demon within that sword has a thirst for Calgar. So 3 extra attacks, and he gets them all. Right, again, normally we wound on 3s, but transhuman physiology means we're on a 4. But we can reroll failed wounds because of 10,000 Years of Hatred. Right, so we only get 4 in the end, but these are the more damaging hits, potentially. So 4s to save on 4. 2 go through. So that's 4 damage on Calgar. He's starting to go down. So he's got 13 wounds left. Where's that 13? There it is. 13th Crusade. It's an omen. Alright, it's Calgar to fight back. So there's the conundrum. He's got 3 command points left. He needs to hold on to them for transhuman physiology. It's the stratagem that keeps him alive. So he's not going to spend any command points for his attacking plays here. He's just going to go in with his basic 6 with no modifiers or anything. So here he goes, 6 attacks, and he rerolls 1s because of his natural ability, and then wounds on 3s but no rerolls. Alright, he gets 4. He's just doing it the old fashioned way, so saving on 4s. 3 go through, that's 3d3. Oh, it's just a triple 1 again. So there's Abaddon, he's now down to 15 wounds. Right, Ultramarines turn 2. So the intercessors see this rhino coming around the corner and stack up just to shoot it so it doesn't have any cover save. So they're going to try and finish it off with the bolt rifles, and if it disgorges the Marines because of it, that could be trouble. And then over here, once again, it's the same situation. Up top, nobody moves. Everyone's ready to shoot. And down here, it's just a slight reshuffle. Everyone's just getting into a better range, I think. Nobody deploys from the it's the aggressors in the repulsor, so they're staying safe. They don't want to get out in front of the knight just in case it survives, and they're just looking to counter any of the deep strikers that come in. Same with the Inceptors, who are still in the sky for the Ultramarines. He feels confident that he doesn't need them just yet. So it's pretty much going to be a carbon copy of the last turn. Shoot the heretics dead, stone dead. So the Ultramarines started the psychic phase first, did some psychic powers on the Rhino, but failed all the tests, and then all of these intercessors just tuned up the band and blew away the Rhino. So the Rhino eventually went down to the last squad firing at it, and we had to get out with the Chaos Marines and lost 3 on the emergency disembarkation. So we lost 3. That was painful stuff. So it's a squad of 7. We've still got our plasmas, but that was big hurts there. And then it only continues to hurt. So he then fires with the infiltrator unit over here, plays Signs of Guilliman to re-roll all failed hits, and ends up putting 12 wounds on this Venom Crawler. Absolutely outrageous. And these are AP -1 because of the Tactical Doctrine in play. So we're saving on 4s. I just thought we'll best put this on camera, but look at that. It's a good roll. So we'll counter their astonishing roll with a good roll of ourselves. 4 go through, and that is that Venom Crawler's now up to 7 wounds put on it. Okay, so the Venom Crawler has only got 3 wounds left. The Knight has only got 5 wounds left, and the Repulsor has fired all of its weapons except the last cannons so far. But we're just going to do the saves that I've got to make. So there was 8 saves to be made off the Onslaught cannons. So these are AP -1, saving on 4s. 5 wounds left, remember. And just like that, we are killed in the first volley. We've got a range of dice stacked up left to save on it without the las cannons. And didn't even need to get that far. He's dead. So on a 6 he's going to explode. It doesn't explode. Alright, the Centurions were next to fire, so one of them had to fire at this Forge Fiend, caused a wound, and the other 2 fired at the what's it called? The Venom Crawler coming around the corner. So with the Heavy Bolters and the Hurricane Bolters have caused 8 wounds on it they'll have to save, and all of these shots with the Tactical Doctrine are -1. All the bolt guns lumped together, so I've got to save 8 on 4s. I've only got 3 wounds left, and it's dead. So it doesn't matter if it explodes, there's nobody around. Okay, so the eradication will continue. We're going to put this on camera because it's just completely ridiculous. The Centurions in the building with the las cannons, where his hand is over there, going to fire at the Havocs, and Centurions ignore cover with las cannons. It's going to be terminal. So 3s to hit, and that's 2 misses, and then 3s to wound because the Havocs are toughness 5. So they all wound, and they just go straight through the cover because they've got ignores cover, but I do get a save of 6. Yay! And I save 1. So 3 are dead. So of course we're going to take the obligatory wound. Nobody even knows his name, he's just called the obligatory wound. And there's 2 Havocs left. But he's got the Centurion missile launchers on the chest. So he's got 3d3 shots from these, and these are no joke either. And he gets reroll 1s because the captain's just behind, in front of him. So 1 hits. Oh no, these
That's
are
the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. Those weren't the hit. There was a D3. How many shots he's going to get? Right, and he rerolls that 1. All right. So there's 4 hits, and the strength 8. So you wound on 3s again, and all wounds. So these are AP -2. Ignoring cover, and because the Tactical Doctrine, these are actually assault weapons, so they're going to be AP3 like the las cannon. So 6s again, and they're all dead. There we go. Another triumphant victory for the Centurions. Okay, so the Ultramarines show some mercy in the end. The Dreadnought fires at the Forge Fiend, causes 2 wounds, and then the suppressors fire in, and we save that. But long story short, he's got 9 wounds left. This Forge Fiend. This one's fresh. So these are the only survivors in this corner. It's been horrible. So onto the big fight. This is where things get more fair, should we say. Right, so it's the Ultramarines' turn, so Calgar will strike first. He's down to 3 command points left. He's not going to use any command points to strike out here. So he's got 6 attacks. Oh, 2 1s, but he can re-roll. He's no mug. So he gets 5 hits, 3s to wound, and he gets 3. So 3, 4 invulnerables for Abaddon. If 1 goes through, so it's 1d3 damage. Gets a 2, gets bounced down to a 1. So Calgar, he's not getting those crucial 3s on his d3, which really do the painful damage. So he's just winged Abaddon there, caused a wound. Abaddon's on 14 wounds left, and now Abaddon will strike. So he's going to... Calgar's got 13 wounds left. Shall we indulge him another round? Because it's... Yes, we'll indulge him another round, I think. It's at our whim when you die, so... in fact, I'll tell you what we are. We're going to pay 3 command points and reroll failed wounds. Because although we're the bad guy, we're not that arrogant. So here we go. Do we get any command points back? Because our sorcerer has that ability. So we got 1 back, and that's our lot for this battle round. So we're on 10 command points for Abaddon. So here we go. He's the Talent of Horus. So are you gonna play
transhuman physiology?
Yeah, transhuman. Roll your 2 dice. Do you get any command points back? It's a crucial roll, this one. He does, right? So he's got 2 command points left, which means transhuman physiology has a chance to go off again should he survive this attack. So here we go. Talent of Horus, and we'll get 1 Death of the False Emperor, which misses, but we'll get a reroll that. So we've hit in the end. And normally wound on 2s because it's actually strength 10 against Marnius's 5, so we'll be wound on 2s, but with transhuman physiology we're looking at 4s, but we can re-roll because of the stratagem 10,000 years of hatred. Right, that's looking pretty devastating. 7 wounds to save on 4s for Calgar, and 3 slip through the guard, so that's 3d3 damage. Right, so he's taken, goes down to 1, goes down to 1, goes down to 2. It's 4 damage. Calgar is on 9 wounds now. It's just looking scary business. Where's that 9? Where's it gone? There it is. And now Drachnian screams the warp scream and gets 5 attacks with it. 2s. Right, there's 3 Death of the False Emperors. Drachnian has spoken. Rerolls 1s. Yes. Yes. Alright, 4s to wound with Drachnian because of transhuman physiology, and 10,000 years of hatred giving us rerolls. Okay. There's 6 wounds. Ooh. 3 go through, and because it's flat damage 3, it goes down to 2. So there's 3 wounds turn into 6 wounds. Calgar's got 3 wounds left. Where's he gone? So 3 wounds left on Calgar. He gets to survive another round. He dies at Abaddon's choosing, it seems. Alright, it's Black Legion. Turn 2. So we're looking pretty sick here. We've been gunned down at will, so we've called in the reserve. So before that happened, we've also tied in the psychic phase. So this unit moved out of there, they advanced, the psycho warp timed them, and they've gone another 10, so they're right up there now. This unit just moves forward 6. They're going to try and get the hands on this unit, and the sorcerer also prescients them, so the +1 to hit now. And then for reserves, what happened was over here still. The combi plasma terminators over there, they've dropped in here, and more reserves over here. So this is where it really happened. So the obliterators came in first, and they were outside of our spec scan. Then these terminators came down within 12 of the centurions. They can or spec scan, but we had to get within 12 because we've got melters ourselves, so we're just going to have to get a good kick in just to use our combi melters, so that's why they're so close. And the Harkin and the Raptors came down over here, so don't expect much from them. So just to make things clear, we also did the psychic phase, and he failed infernal power, so we're getting no rerolls on the obliterators, but we did, however, get cursed earth off, which is equally as important. So he's, every demon within 6 of them has an invulnerable force save, so that's the 2 engines and the obliterators, so at least we got something off there. Right, so we also did the Auspex scan with the Centurions, and he's came away with 21 AP -1 wounds on the Terminators, so we're going to get the big tray out for this because there's a lot of dice to be rolled. So big tray means big damage, which means big tears. So 21 saves on 3s because they're all AP -1 on that big Terminator squad. So how many will die is the question. So 3s to save. Okay, so we've lost not as many as we thought. So 1, 2.5. So it's not too bad in the end. So we're going to lose our 2 heavy flamers. Actually, we'll keep 1 heavy flamer, and we'll give him a wound. And then there's just a useless combi flamer guy in there, so he was always a stooge. He was always going down. Right, so it's now time for the Black Legion's shooting phase. Okay, we started over here in the shooting phase. Overcharged all of our plasmas, shot at squad 2. We would have got a full wipeout on that squad, but he got double 6 to save. So that squad has got 2 members left, and we planned on just charging this squad. So we didn't get our people, but we got enough of them, and we didn't kill ourselves in the plasma overwatch, in the plasma overcharge, should I say. This unit of Combi Plasma Terminators shot in on squad 3 here. Took them down to 1 guy left with 1 wound, but we did kill ourselves with an overcharged plasma in the process. But it's worth it, because that's the only way we can kill Primus Marines is with overcharged plasma. And then to try and finish off his last wound, we shot with our bolt guns, because the Black Legion rule of being able to shoot 1 shot with a rapid fire weapon as if it was an assault weapon. So we shot in 8 bolt gun shots trying to hit our foes, didn't get anything. And so that's all on this side of the board. Maybe we can try and get a long charge here. So how will it develop on the other side where the big guns are? Okay, we did some shooting off camera here. We did this unit of Terminators with 6 melter guns. At the Obliterators, he played transhuman physiology to wound our foes, but we got 3 wounds, and we actually got 3 kills in the end with the command point reroll. Helped us get the damage required. We've got a 6, a 3, and then a 1, and then we rerolled that into another 3. So killed those Obliterators with melter guns. Can't believe it, that out of me face. Wonderful news. And then to more elation, this kills the Dreadnought. Only had 5 wounds left, and with the help of the Ectoplasma Maw, we've got the last wound off it. So does it explode? It doesn't explode, so no trouble for anyone around. So actually, it's been a very meaningful, aggressive insertion here. And we've still got to fire this one and the Obliterators. So the Obliterators, we do have Endless Cacophony in the bank for all our Slaneshi marked people, which is everybody, because it's the best one. So I think how we're going to do this, well, we don't have to play that to the end of the shooting phase, so we'll keep on firing, and then we'll see what's left, and then we'll make our decision. Alright, so we fired the last remaining Forge Fiend at the Repulsor, didn't do anything. Actually, no, I think we did 2 wounds. And then the Obliterators fired at it, only got a strength 7, but we did get AP -3 and 2 damage. And it's got 2 wounds left at the end of the day after those 2 units firing. So it's left there, 2 wounds. It's still a dangerous vehicle. So what we're going to do is spending our last 2 command points to do Endless Cacophony, because the last thing to fire this turn at the Repulsor, just to see it off. And we also did an overcharged plasma shot and killed an infiltrator over there, which is pretty insignificant but worth seeing. So the Obliterator is going to fire once again with Endless Cacophony up the street at the Repulsor, try and take it out. It's only got 2 wounds left, so we might as well do this. So it's strength plus D3, it's going to be strength 7 again, AP -1, and damage 1, so it's the worst result I could have got. So it's basically a really poor autocannon. Here we go, 3s to hit. Oh, look at that. But 2 wounds. At AP -1, you need 2 4s. If you get one of them, it's going to survive.
Oh!
It's Snake Eyes. It's,
command point reroll.
oh man, you got. Oh, it survived with 1 wound left. And it's still a formidable tank because it's got so many shots, it will find some hits. Alright, so that continues, but I'll tell you what, we're glad we've got the Centurions and the Dreadnought, so it goes on. It's got 1 wound left though, that's pretty significant. Okay, charges, we've already done all the rolls, so this squad rolled an 11 to get in on here, survived the Overwatch intact, so we're going to move them in. Got an 11, so we'll go in like this. We've still got Prescience in effect for this unit. So we'll be hitting on a +1, which is pretty significant, because when it comes to the hand-to-hand, we will get Death of the False Emperors on a 5 and a 6, so that's good news for them. And then over here, we charge the Terminators into the Intercessor and the Librarian, did his Overwatch, and we also got an 11. Way, so we're going to go in on them both, and we're going to try and cause an upset on this side of the board. Get him in there. So big charges. If we can take down this Librarian, we are looking in fine shape on this side. Right, we're going to do the fight here. So we're going to start off with this one. We don't want him to jump the queue. We're going to fight everyone against the librarian, and he's played transhuman physiology to keep himself alive. So of course Calgar will probably do the same, but because we're classing that as a completely separate thing, doesn't matter about overlapping stratagems. So here we go then. We're going to start off with the chain fist. So he's got 2 attacks his profile, he's got 1 for shock assault. Needs 4s to hit, he gets them all. 4s to wound, it would have been 2s. And he gets them both, right, so it's AP minus 4, no save. That's 4 damage dealt out straight away on the librarian. He's probably got 5, being Primaris. And then we're going to see him off with the champion here. He's got lightning claws, so he's got 3 on his profile, extra weapon for the lightning claws, 1 for charging, 5 attacks with this chap. Okay, that's pretty good. And he needs 4s to wound, but you can reroll because of lightning claws. 4 wounds, saving on 5s against these. We might just see him off, and we do. He's dead. So librarian goes down. Good riddance. Okay, then we're going to move up to this combat. We've already done it. The Ultramarines played, what was the stratagem to jump the queue again?
Counter-offensive.
Counter-offensive, so they got to fight instantly. Killed a Chaos Marine, and then they all fought back. We got some good Death of the False Emperor rolls, but we just saved against them. But we did kill 1.5 intercessors. So, it's a slow going process to burn the Imperium. Right, so after that sideshow is taken care of, it is time for the most meaningful stuff. So it's, what is it? It must be the turn 4 of fighting, or is it turn 5 of these thrown down? So Abaddon will strike first because it's his turn. So we've got 6 attacks coming in. Let's just get some dice here. So Calgar's only got 3 wounds left, and we can bet he's going to play transhuman physiology for his last 2 command points.
He certainly is.
And so Abaddon, he's going to spend 3 for reroll filled wounds. 10,000 years of hero, that's what it's called. So here he goes. The Talon of Horus will claim another legend of the Imperium. It's already taken out Sanguinius. Double 6 means Death of the False Emperor. Reroll 1s. Here we go. This, not only did it get Sanguinius, it also got Honourable Sigismund as well. Will Calgar suffer the same? Reroll wounds. Because of transhuman physiology, we win on 4s, but that is a whopping amount of hits and wounds, so that's 8 wounds. Will this cleave you in 2? 4s to save. It's a done deal.
2, 3, 4.
4. He's gone. Doesn't matter if he could. Command point reroll. Calgar falls. There's nothing he can do. There's no getting back up or anything. Abaddon, in the story, in the actual book, he cuts off one of his power fists. He cuts off a couple of his fingers, and then he slashes his primary heart in 2 and slashes his secondary heart, but not fatal. As silly as that sounds, it's not a fatal blow. But Calgar's laid low.
That furnace kicks in, doesn't it?
And Abaddon is now free to move off as Calgar lies down and he starts bleeding out, unconscious, until his Belisarian furnace kicks in. So Calgar lasted a long time there. He's bought himself enough time for the stealth ship to crash into the Vengeful Spirit, and all those 6 vortex missiles go off and create a small, an event horizon, a tiny one, tiny little pinprick that starts to absorb the Vengeful Spirit. And slowly the Vengeful Spirit's getting sucked away, and Abaddon has to return to the ship because he can't trust the people on board, because they're going to have to do an emergency warp jump. So Abaddon needs to get back on his ship, or else he'll never see it again. That's the hard fact of living on the side of chaos. That your ship will get claimed off you at any given time. So Abaddon's got to return to the ship, but what we're going to do is the final phase of the game. We're going to keep his 14 wounds. The Ultramarines are going to have one last chance to retaliate against the War Master before he teleports back into his ship. because Harkin World Claimer has just told him the ship is leaving. So he's starting to dematerialise. Can the Ultramarines see him off? We're going to keep his 14 wounds. Can they avenge Calgar in some shape or form? Okay, so what we're going to say is, because Abaddon's won the battle, but Calgar is going to win the war here. So just before Abaddon clears off, he's starting to dematerialise. They're going to shoot who they can at him. So that just means the whole castle of the Ultramarines can strip 14 wounds off him. So he's starting with these Centurions still in the corner there. 6 las cannons at Abaddon. So here he goes.
Here we are.
Hitting on 3s.
Ready for this?
Yep. Let's have it.
Oh, rerolling.
Rerolling 1s because the captain. Because 4 hits. And he wounds on 3s against Abaddon. Oh, rerolls 1s. Right, there's two saves for Abaddon. He makes 1, fails 1. We're going to command point reroll one of those because he did have some command points left. He makes it. He survives the brutal last cannons. The Centurion missile launches, so 3d3. Okay, so that's 3, 2, and 2. That's 7. Needing 3s to hit him. 7 shots. Reroll 1s. Okay, 6 hits. And again needing 3s because he's strength 8. Ooh, rerolls 1s. Abaddon's fading away, can you? It's 4 wounds. These are going to be AP -3 still in the tactical doctrine. He saves them all. He's just going to... He's invincible. Right, you got your Hell Blasters you're going to do? Oh, the tank. Well, it's definitely not the nearest to the tank.
Shall we go for the Hell Blasters?
Yeah, we'll see what the Hell Blasters do. So, of course, they're going to overcharge. So enraged with Calgar going down.
So we have...
You can just do them all at the same time.
Shy.
Yeah, because it doesn't really matter. Because Abaddon is not going to be here in the next phase. He's going to be gone. So here we go. Well, it doesn't actually matter because he bounces all damage down by 1, so it doesn't really matter. Right, so all but 1 hit, and then needs 3s to wound. That's all of them. So how many is that?
3, 6, 9.
9. Okay, Abaddon just getting rained on with plasma. I'm not even sure they're within rapid fire range, but we'll allow it because the Chaplain Master has fallen and these will be enraged. So there's 5 wounds taken off Abaddon. He's got 9 wounds left. Where's that 9? There it is. 9 wounds left. He's got the suppressors and the inceptors to fire, and then Abaddon's gone. So 6 shots from the suppressors. Oh, he's getting nervous now. He's starting to dematerialise. His essence is fading back into the warp. 3 wounds. Saves on 4s. No, he'll save on 3s against... No, 4s because he's AP -2. He's done it again. It's a full saving extravaganza. And then the Inceptors, it's all on them. Can they do it? They've got 6 shots each. A whopping 18.
2 lots of 9 then.
2 lots of 9, right. Real 1s because they are within range of the captain. 4s to wound because he's toughness 5. That's a hell of a roll.
4, 6, 7.
7. These are AP -2 because of the tactical doctrine. Let's see what I'm doing on these. Can I save them? 4s. Ooh, he's taking 3. He's got 6 wounds left.
9 more.
It's possible he's got 9 shots, but unlikely. So he's 2 rerolls.
1 miss.
1 miss. 4s to wound. Oh, that is serious. 6 wounds. 6 wounds left. He's blessed by the Dark Gods. He should make it. Oh, he almost didn't. He's got 2 wounds left, and that's pretty much all that was in range. Seriously in range. We did stretch that rule a bit with who's in range, but give him every chance to get Abaddon, and Abaddon just simply looks to the skies,
Swans off into the sunset.
sees the vengeful spirit starting to dematerialise itself, with the emergency warp transit and beams himself back on board. He can't let any of his inner circle take over command of the flagship, so he's gone back. So how does this end? Well, it ends like this. This is actually how it ends in the story, in the book. So Harken Worldclaimer gets on the Vox, tells the Legion that Abaddon has quit the field. They all need to return as best they can back to the Vengeful Spirit. Those who can't, just going to have to hold the defence on Vigilus to see what comes of their efforts. But the important people, like the Terminators, will just go back to the Vengeful Spirit in a reverse teleportation. But what happens to Calgar? Well, his Belisarian furnace kicks in and keeps him alive. So if you're not familiar with a Belisarian furnace, it knits together flesh and injects combat stims. It's sort of a last-ditch effort that keeps him alive. So Calgar's secondary heart knits itself together, and the Stormraven comes in with the best apothecaries Vigilus can offer, and he gets escorted onto the Stormraven. He's Primaris, but he gets on the Stormraven. That's what happens. Primaris can get in old vehicles to make it happen. But anyway, that's what actually happens in the book. Apothecaries come out, cart him away, but Calgar is humbled, but he's won the war.